I'm Alba, and it's so nice to have you here. We're going to have a mat Pilates class today. Okay, so just give me a shout over there. Tell me who I've got there, where you guys watching me from. It'd be amazing to know who's there. And have you ever done Pilates? This is your first class. Do you do Pilates very often? Just say hi over there in the comment section, and then we'll make it much more interactive and hopefully fun. Okay. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna give 2 more minutes, see if someone else joins so that they don't miss the beginning of it. But in case this is your first time here, I'm just doing this series of live streaming videos. Okay, hello, we've got Amalia. Good. So Amalia, I sort of know because she's been joining for a couple of times. So good, perfect. That's great. And yeah, if it's your first time here, I'm doing this series of live free streaming videos that are just for us to be able to find the space to connect and to be able to move together. So I really hope you can join even more, and yeah, we can keep staying connected in this space. This one quite enjoys it, as you can see. He's like also always wants to be in front of the camera. And we're gonna get started, okay? So I am assuming I've got Amalia. I don't know who else is that person I've got there. Um, we'll do a sort of beginner intermediate class because, of course, I don't know who I've got. So we'll make it quite working on the principles, which are very useful, even if you have done Pilates already. It is the most important thing in any case. So I think that'll do us all a lot of good. So we're going to get started, and we're just going to start finding. So first of all, in terms of material, you don't really need anything. Now, if you've got some little cushion like this one, where you can just lift your head a little bit onto, that'll be super useful to have, because it's going to allow us to give us some support through the head. And then if you've got a mat, that's great. If you don't have a mat, no problem. You can also use just a comfy rug or anything that's a bit soft. Okay. And then we might use a chair. I don't know if we'll use it today, but sometimes we use a chair. So any sort of stool, chair, something you can sit on, that'll be amazing too. So we're just going to get started mobilizing the spine a little bit. And we're going to get started in all fours, just facing my little one, Bimbo, here. Oh, he was just like that. And from there. So I want you to start to think of this position as a really, really supported one. So I'm going to try to imagine my knees are underneath my hips and my hands are underneath my shoulders. Yes, Bimbo, I don't need kisses right now. And I'm gonna press with the whole palm and allow my shoulders to be nice and grounded. Now, from there, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to press through the shins and imagine I'm curling my sacrum towards my feet to make my spine curl a little bit more, even deeper, and I come back. Now, the temptation will be, guys, to really let the shoulders go out of the socket. Now, I want you to imagine you've got a sheet of paper. So if you imagine the spacing between your shoulders, first you're trying to spread your hands apart so that you're making your blades nice and spread. And then my hands are pressing through the whole palm. So there is no space underneath my fingers. There are no bubbles of air. I splash all the bubbles of air in my fingers. And as I press on them, I'm going to imagine my sacrum just curls down to my feet. So I keep finding the pressure through my feet, but my shoulders don't change. So I'm not going into pinchy blades and I'm not collapsing, right? So if I collapse, that's what's going to happen. You can see it definitely how the lower back gets all dropped. So I want you to keep imagining your giving you your lower stomach. And again, so I curl through the sacrum, beautiful, and I come back to center. And now from there, I'm going to go into the extension. So I keep making my hands spread apart, and I'm going to start to send my nipples and collarbone forward, but imagining at the same time someone's pulling my pubic bone towards the back of the room. Beautiful. And back to center. So if I had to create an image, it's like my pubic bone is reaching one way and my collarbone is reaching the other way, so that I don't create this collapse right in my lower back. I want to imagine the front is nice and light, and I'm really reaching, and the back band is stretching both ways, both ways, both ways without pinky blades. Beautiful. And back to center. Now let's go again into the curl. So I'm going to actually sit back a little bit more. So I send my sit bones a little bit towards my heels. I press on the shins and curl my sacrum without changing my shoulders. So if I had a sheet of paper here, it wouldn't change, it wouldn't fall. And I come back again. Wonderful. Now let's go for the extension. So I reach my nipples forward, collarbone, spread the hands apart, pubic bone reaches back. Beautiful. Connecting ribs with pubic bone back to center. And I sit back a little bit, press on the shins, and again, give me that nice curl in the sacrum, really pressing through your whole foot. And let's just sit back for a second, reaching your hands away and curling into child's pose. Good, that's it. And I want today, I've just been thinking quite a lot about breathing today. So I would love to just try it out and just have a session that has that as a concept, because I think it's so important and interesting to work on. So everything we're going to do today, we're just going to really focus on how we're breathing, okay? So we're going to start lying down on the mat. And I wanted to start to get rid of that concept of always having to breathe very noisy, right? So we're going to start to imagine the breath is like a little sponge, and you're trying to, as you inhale, absorb water through that sponge, and it's like the air is coming into your lungs as you absorb all that. And as you exhale, you just allow the muscles to wrap you up, and then the air naturally comes out. So thinking of that concept, we're going to have the hands in my pelvis. So my feet are just hip width apart, and I'm going to make sure I'm not tucking, okay? So I'm not pressing my back into the mat. I am allowing my sit bones to be forward. So if I put my hand in my pubic bone, like literally put your hand right in that pubic bone, you're going to stretch it forward, and you're going to feel how every muscle. Wonderful. Now you might feel like when you do that, your chest pops out a little bit. So that's a different thing, right? So I want you to imagine as you do that, you're gonna start to imagine the chest starts to melt. So it's like I've got something really soft that I want to spread on top of my chest, allowing my ribs to soften down to the side. If I had a weight, even if you have a book, you can also put it in on top of your chest, and I just want you to start to feel that heaviness there. Good. Now I'm really insisting on these things because it's going to be important the minute we start to do something a bit more complicated. So really keeping that feeling and these principles there, guys. I'm going to start to feel my hands on the ground. So I'm pressing through my palms, allowing my elbows to be a little bit bent, and really letting my palms connect to my heart. So I imagine every pressure in my hands connects me to my chest dropping. And from there, I'm going to inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to pick up one knee to my chest, making my front very heavy. And then I'm going to inhale, bring the other one, making again the front very heavy. Now, if you've got a little bit of tension in the neck, you can always put a cushion, and it's going to give you a nice good support. So I'm going to do it here, and you'll see how when I lift my head just that tiny bit, that is going to give me a bit more room in order to drop my chest to connect my pubic bone with it. Beautiful. So from there, all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring one knee a little bit forward, and then I'm going to press with my palms to pull them in again. Good. So now I'm immediately shaking as I connect my core. Good. So that sometimes it's just a release of energy that we need. So, and it doesn't have to happen. It's just some days it's more connected. So I just want you to start to notice how your body's feeling today and where you feel the tensions. So if there's any particular bit of your front that needs that little nice retriever puppy, because that's a very cute image. So if you imagine that retriever puppy being nice and warm on top of that bit that's tense, and imagining you're wanting to make that bit flat for that puppy to sleep on. Good. And you're going to keep inhaling, sending one knee forward, exhaling, pulling that in. So every time you exhale, my belly and chest get really heavy, 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 so that my stomach and all this melts. Inhale, heavy, good. If I'm doubting if I'm melting it, I can always put my hand on it. Good, and make it nice and jammy. Just last one. Great. Now from there, I'm gonna squeeze the heels together like crazy, guys. A lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And I'm gonna have my hands behind my head in this case, okay? So I'm starting to imagine my triceps are floating up to the ceiling, but my arm bones are dropping into the mat so my shoulders are nice and wide on the mat. And from there, I want you to imagine a structure that's in between your shoulders. So in between your shoulders, there's a really heavy space, and you're melting that space in order to start to allow your elbows to pick you up to the ceiling. And again, we're going to inhale, breathing in the space in between your blades. And then you're going to exhale, drop that heart and make your belly even heavier. And again, inhale, exhale, squeeze your waist. Keep going. Inhale. So it's like a beautiful hammock. Both ends of the hammock are very light, and the middle is very heavy, and we go all the way down. So, talking about the breathing here, again, that feeling of the inhale being like a sponge absorbing the air out of different places. One of the principles of Pilates is we want to create a bigger lung capacity, really use the whole lung capacity. So, we're going to start to think of sending the air to those places it doesn't normally get to. So, we're going to allow the front to get very heavy, and we're going to actually do 3 little breaths. So, I'm going to go exhale. So I'm going to do inhale, inhale, inhale. Exhale, let your belly be heavy. And again, inhale, inhale, inhale. Good. Now the breath doesn't go into my belly, it just goes in the upper back. Heavy chest. 2 more. Inhale, heavy belly. Last one. Beautiful. Great. And from there, I'm just going to keep my hands in the back of my knees. So similar kind of exercise. I just want you to notice what helps you more in this instance. You're going to squeeze the heels together, really wrap the back of your hips around. It's like a little, yeah, little squeeze in there, and your elbows are going to come apart again. Now, I don't want you to pull your elbows, sorry, shoulders out of the socket, so you're still allowing that arm bone to be heavy towards the mat. And I'm starting to really use my hands in order to melt my chest down. So I'm melting my chest, and again, I am breathing. I'm pressing a little bit on my legs, and I'm inhaling in that space in between my blades. Exhale, melting my chest. Inhale. So really allowing the thoracic to bend, guys. Inhale. Heavy chest. Last one. Good. And from there, I'm going to bring my legs up a little bit. We're going to go for a TikTok. So hands are to the side. I'm squeezing my heels both together a lot. I can do a little bit of bird on a perch, but I don't want you to overtense your feet. So the important thing here is that you're really squeezing the heels together. That's the most important thing for me. And now from there, I'm imagining right from the beginning that I'm letting my legs make this bit underneath my chest heavy. So how light can my tail get off the mat without lifting it too much? And I'm going to go inhaling to the right side. Exhale, press on the right palm to go back to center. Now, if this is too heavy, you're going to go with the legs there. Okay, so inhale and back. If it's not, you can do it with the legs up. So we're going to go inhale, press on the left palm really strongly to imagine I'm sucking my legs into this bit here. And again, inhale. Heavy, beautiful, good. Allow the leg bone to drop down into the socket. Inhale. Heavy, good, good. Keep sucking it right in. And again, inhale. Heavy, heavy, heavy. So really make your belly be the heaviest of weights. Inhale. Wonderful. Last one. Good. Now I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to bring my right leg down. Okay, so right leg is down. The leg bone, I've got bimbo there, but I'm going to try bimbo. So I'm going to make that leg bone heavy, and I'm going to keep going with my circle. So really imagine there is a nice big weight on top of my right thigh, okay? So I keep doing that little circle that happens right in the socket. It's like a little spoon, but I make heavy towards the mat. So that my leg is yanking on myself. I just want it to be nice and connected to my center. And again, last one. Wonderful. And from there, all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my foot from the outside. Okay, so if the outside of my foot with my right hand, I'm on my left foot, and I'm going to just reach it a little bit towards the side to just stretch that side leg. Great. And staying there for a second, stretching that side leg. Wonderful. Now we're going to bring this leg on top. So we're crossing fully, one knee on top of the other one, and I'm pulling this leg that's on top towards me just to give it some glute stretch over there. Wonderful. And now I'm going to go to the other side. Okay, so we're going to start with a TikTok and then we'll go back to circles on the other side. So we're with both legs up or down, whatever feels more comfortable. And then I am allowing my hands again to find that position that connects me. So always I talk about this little clip you're making between your chest and your pubic bone and all that space in the middle getting super heavy. You can even put your hands if you want to feel it. You know, when I teach, it's really easy for me to put the hands, but when I'm not there, it's quite important for you guys to be tactile with yourselves and just allow those cues to settle in. Sometimes just by putting your hands, it can help. So we're going to go to the left, and then I'm going to press through my left hand to suck my legs right into the socket. Beautiful. Inhale, exhale, and again, inhale. Heavy chest, pull them in, pull them right in. Beautiful. And allow the air to really get out of your body. Exhaling. Two more. Imagining that breath that happens nice and silently. So I'm not exhaling and making a big sound. I'm just using all that energy to squeeze in my waist. And I'm going to do the last one to the left. So I'm going to go to the left. Then my left leg is going to go all the way down. And I imagine I have a big rock on top of my left thigh that's going to make me nice and heavy through there. Now, with that heaviness, I keep pulling and sucking my right leg into my right hip socket and into that bit underneath my chest that I want it to be nice and yummy. So again, I've got this golden retriever right on top of my chest. Beautiful. Use your hands, guys. Hands are so important. Beautiful. Nice work. So I've got a stable base. That's my leg that's supported underneath. It's just the bottom leg that's really pressing towards the ground and being nice and heavy. And I reverse a circle. So I go with this circle in the other direction, allowing my right sit bone to be on the mat, nice and heavy. Good. Now I don't need my legs super straight. I can make it a bit soft so I'm not pulling from the knee. Beautiful. Now from there, I'm going to grab the outside part of my right foot with my left hand to stretch all that side. Okay, I'm going to stay there and breathe into that stretch. Wonderful. And from there, we're going to go for a famous shoulder bridge. So we're going to take the cushion over there. Anytime you do anything that's, I'm just hoping you're seeing me from here, but I think you are. So anything you do, any sort of inversion or any shoulder bridge or things like that, you always want to have your head on the floor without the cushion, because otherwise you can damage your neck. So we're going to have the feet nice and grounded. So just there again, finding your palms, guys. I'm starting to allow all that tension to just flee. Good, and take your time. Yeah, just take your time to acknowledge what bit of the body is a bit more tense today. Sometimes it is quite easy to connect and to release that bit, and sometimes it's just not. And it's also very humble and important thing to be able to just say, today I'm just a bit disconnected, and that's That is okay. So we're going to stay there. And we're just going to start to imagine the whole sole of the foot being nice and spread on the floor. And I'm going to use that strength on my whole sole to imagine I'm tipping my pubic bone towards my nose. Good. And I am dropping it towards my belly so that my belly is nice and heavy. It's hanging down. And I'm reaching my knees over my feet to stretch my thighs against the window in this case. And from there, I'm going to press on my hands, allow the throat to melt down and go down all the way. Beautiful. And again. So I'm pressing on my feet and I'm going to go up, up, up. So I'm tipping my pubic bone towards my nose. Heavy ribs, beautiful, and create a little slope that goes from your pubic bone down to your belly and heart. And it's nice and soft. And I keep pressing on the whole sole of the foot to reach my knees away, like on top of my feet. Beautiful. And then I'm going to melt my heart down, vertebra per vertebra, just realizing if there's any bit that's a bit more stuck. And again. So the only thing, the beginning is pretty simple. We sometimes might want to overcontract it. All I want you to do is to press on the feet and allow the natural pressure in the feet to tip just the pubic bone towards your nose. And as you do that, you allow the belly and the lower back to hang, like a bit of Sweeney Todd, flesh hanging. Good. And you just stand on your feet. So you stand on your feet to pick up your hips. That's beautiful. Good. And now you keep reaching your thighs away from you without losing the pressure on your feet. Beautiful. And then we're going to melt the heart down from the throat. And we're going to do one more. And then we're going to pick up one leg off there. Okay. So again, inhaling, exhaling, using the feet as nice and easy as you can make it to just pick up the hips. Beautiful. Now I don't go too high that I'm feeling that I am over pressing, over constricting anywhere. And there, I'm gonna keep tipping my pubic bone towards my nose to press on my left foot and pick up my right kneecap up to the ceiling. Now bring it down, inhaling. As I exhale, keep the pressure on my right foot. Keep tipping my pubic bone towards my nose to go up with the other leg. And keep alternating, inhaling, exhale. Make the pubic bone keep tipping towards your nose. Sorry, inhale, beautiful. Two more. Exhale, let it keep tipping. Keep reaching the knee away from you. Last one. Inhale and up. Good. Now we stay down and allow all that spine to soften down. Beautiful. Very good. So now from there, we're just going to pull the knees in and give yourselves a nice round circle there. Good. So just really oiling that joint. Very good. And the other way around. And we're going to go to do a little bit of an inversion. Good. So that's perfect. Now squeezing heels together here. Yes, I'm insisting quite a lot in these basic exercises, but I feel like it's very important to set the basis. Like, can we start to internalize all those principles, and then we'll be able to progress so much more, so much quicker, and be able to loads of fun stuff. So we're going to press on the hands, okay, allowing the chest to melt. And we're going to start to imagine as the heels are super squeezed. When I say super, I mean a lot. Like you're going to break a hand in the middle of both heels. You're going to reach those heels up to the ceiling, imagining there's like a little strap you want to stretch, and then you come back. Now, you're going to have your hands in the back of your knees, and you're going to make sure as you do so, you're not pushing in the back of the knee. So the knees don't change position at all. So the idea is like I have a string that's going between my heels and my belly, and as my heels float, my belly drops. Beautiful, because that's what's going to give me the beginning of my inversion. Beautiful. Yes, very good. Without the knees. Nice. Allowing the thigh bone to drop down into the socket. Okay, now I'm going to stay there and I'm going to have my hands by my side. I want you to imagine, as we said the other day, you've got a ball. You're a little bit pregnant here, okay? You've got a big ball here and you cannot squeeze the ball. So there's a ball in between my thighs and my belly, and that ball cannot be squeezed. So I'm going to start to press on the hands a lot, like crazy. Make sure your arms are a little bit bent so that your elbows can be light. And then we can really get into the chest softening. And as I press with my hands, I'm sort of starting to lift my sit bones up to the ceiling. Very good. And I go all the way up. That's it. Now I don't let my legs drop. I keep them nice and a little bit high, just so that my waist's still getting longer and my heels are super squeezed. Super important in the heels, guys. So heels, you're like squeezing something in the middle of the heels. You can't lose that. And now you imagine still the ball in between your thighs and your belly to go down, making sure your legs don't collapse towards your upper body. Good. And again. So we're inhaling. Now, if these hands are not helping you, you can also try this. So fists, and you're gonna press through the little finger. Okay, whichever helps you more. I don't mind. But if it's palms, just make sure that this doesn't happen, that at some point we just lose the palms and we're not really doing anything, because these guys are going to make sure that your chest, if you press on the palms, your spine will really bend, and then we won't hurt our spines. If we don't use the hands, this will not bend. We can really pull on it. It's not very nice, is it? So we're going to go again. So we press on the whole palm, reaching the sit bones up to the ceiling. Good, beautiful. Going on that extension. Keep squeezing the heels so that the two bits in the back of the hips squeeze together. And now give me more palms. Really, palms, palms, palms to melt your throat down and go vertebra by vertebra. Beautiful. Now, if you notice, what I do a little bit of this, right? So I do a little bit of rotation. I do have a little bit of scoliosis, but many of you might have a little bit. It's just functional and it's quite normal to have a little bit because of the way we're not so fully balanced. So I want you to really make sure that you are squeezing evenly, so that this doesn't happen, okay? Yeah, so that goes also for me because teachers also make mistakes loads, many, plenty, all the time. So squeeze the heels and now lift all these legs. Beautiful. And now make sure that you're not unbalancing the sides. You're squeezing both heels together, pressing on the palms. And now give me hands, strong hands. Press like crazy with your hands to go all the way down as balanced as you can. That's really good. And now we're just going to cross one leg over the other one. And I'm going to let my legs release to one side. I'm just going to stay there trying to lift my right hand. Yes, very good. And just breathing into that. Nice. And then I'm going to come back to center. I'm going to change the leg. So I put the left on top. And stretch that way, looking towards my right, trying to keep my right towards my left. And I'm going to really think of my ribs wrapping around my lungs. So I'm really trying to create some support through here, through that diagonal. Nice. Okay. Now I feel like we're a little bit ready. We're definitely ready for an extension. So for that extension, I just want to open a little bit all that collarbone and all those shoulders. So I'm going to do just first an exercise for that, and then we'll go into a little bit of an extension. Let me just bring this down a teeny bit. Wonderful. So we are going to be just here. And my shoulders are going to be facing, in this case, fingertips facing backwards. Okay. And we're going to, again, focus on that breathing we were talking about. So now, I have my hands nice and planted. And I'm going to imagine I'm pulling with a little string my heels towards my sit bones so that I'm not collapsing like this. You feel that? So I'm really pulling them slightly so I'm in that neutral spine. Good. And then from there, I'm just going to bend my elbows
back and a little bit towards the side. And I'm going to use my wrist to press on the mat. Now, I stay here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to start to breathe into the upper bit of my spine. So I'm going to inhale and exhale. Imagine I'm letting my chest drop and really narrowing my waist with my breathing. And again, actually, we're going to use a triple breath again. So we're going to go exhale, stay there. And again, good. So I'm really sending the air right into my collarbone, not into my chest, but just into this area here. So if you had a balloon here, you want to inflate that balloon. And again, exhale, stay. So every time I exhale, the temptation will be to do this, right? So I'm inhaling and exhaling. Now I want you to not collapse on your exhale. So it's actually the opposite. So I'm inhaling, inhaling, inhaling. Now I'm using the exhale to make me light of my hands and make my waist narrow and make me even lighter. Good. And again, exhale, stay up there, nice and floaty, beautiful, without squeezing the blades. Two more. Nice. Last one. Breathing into those shoulders. Ah, good. Oh, nice. Wonderful. Now let's just relax them for a second. It's really important to open all that shoulder gill and all that so that we can do an extension without that being the problematic area. So we're going to get started with that extension. And what we're going to do is we're going to do it just on our bellies. So we're going to lie down on our bellies with the arms towards the front. Now, okay, so my hands are nice and long here. And I'm going to start to pull my elbows a little bit towards me. Okay, so just pulling them a little bit towards me until I feel like my arm bones are connected to my socket. And I start to feel how I can press on my palms and start to feel the lightness in my bra strap height. So, what the area that's just underneath your ribs, okay? So, just all that area is going to start to feel light. And my elbows are nice and parallel. So let's say the inside of the elbow is slightly looking at each other, but at the same time I'm pulling my shoulder blades apart and my hands are coming apart a little bit. So now I can either be here. So if I'm very close, you can see definitely on the image, you can see how I'm so in my lower back, right? So I want you to go a bit more forward so that I'm starting to create a curl in all this upper back that I want to open right now, because the lower back is already very, very mobile, and that's not what I want to get. So I'm pulling my elbows apart, spreading my hands, and I'm starting to try to send the nipples forward. And imagine as my hands press, I'm also making the bra strap or that rib area light of the mat. Wonderful. And I keep pulling, and I'm going to just find the position. If this is too far, I'm going to readjust it just to wherever I feel like I can be light of that bit. Now my thighs are together, and I'm going to start to imagine I'm grabbing a pencil in the middle of my arch, and I'm bouncing to the two pulsations in and again. So I'm going to go 1 and a 2 and a 3. Good. And again, I keep reaching my nipples forward and my collarbone opens wide. 1 and a 2 and a 3. Beautiful. 1 and a 2 and a 3. I stay there for a second, bring the knee in. Now imagine you're still making your bra strap or your ribs very light, and you're going to imagine you grab something with your foot right in the arch and you pull in and out. And again, in and out. Now let it happen from your hamstring. 1 and a 2 and a 3. Beautiful. 2 more. Last one. Okay. And rest for me for a second. Beautiful. That's really good. Nice. And now let's do some sides. So for those sides, we're just going to go, we're going to go nice and simple for a couple of side kicks. So we got someone else over there. Welcome, everyone. Say hi if you want through the chat so I know who's there. So we're going to be with one arm forward. Okay, so my hand is just in the back of my head. And over there, I'm starting to press through my palm. So again, I'm not just collapsed. My hand is engaging with my core and it's giving me some feeling of clipping together in my core. So I'm really imagining again that my chest wants to give me a little clip, wants to clip towards my pubic bone. Good. And from there, very important, we barely talk about it, and it's so important. We're going to start to press with the bottom leg down to pick up the right leg up and down again. So this one is pressing like crazy towards the floor, and I'm picking up the other one and down and again. So let the bottom leg give you the consistency and the support, and let your arm also bring it together. Beautiful. Now, if this is very uncomfortable for you guys, you can also have cushion in the middle, and I'm having my head there if that helps you, okay? Now, whatever is okay and comfy, because we want to work, of course, but we don't want to torture ourselves and be in a position that's been straining, because that's not the point of it. The point of it is to make strengthen in a deep and in a way that it feels good. And again, so we're gonna go up, beautiful, and down. Last one. And we're gonna stay there. Now I'm gonna go flex with my top leg. And I'm gonna imagine. So I'm gonna put my hand in my hip, and you're gonna reach your right hip away from you. You feel what that creates. So you're really trying to make both sit bones be at the same height. Now that doesn't change. You keep that hip there, but you bring your hand back in into the mat, and you're going to pull your knee right into your chest, allowing your chest to be very heavy. And from there, I'm going to imagine I'm pressing a surface away from you from the whole sole of the foot. I'm going to go far, 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 far. Beautiful. Now I'm pointing my foot to go a little bit back, staying on my hamstring. And then I'm going to flex to go forward. Now I'm sucking my leg into this bit here as I come in. Sucking it in, fully in. Beautiful. And then I'm pointing again as I want to grab a little pencil in my arch. And I go back. Beautiful. Now don't too back that you're collapsing. Just as back as you're not spilling in the front. Good. Pull your heel right into your. Yes, beautiful. Now grab the pencil in the middle of the arch and let your hamstring take you so that you can open the front of the hip. Beautiful. Now don't forget about the bottom leg. I already did. So really pressing on the bottom leg, guys. Super important, the bottom leg. And again, we're almost there, I promise you. And back and going forward. Bottom leg, give me some bottom leg. Bit more, good point. Beautiful. And from there, I'm just going to have legs there. Okay, so I'm there. Both feet are up. And I'm just going to close the little shell and I'm going to open it and closing and opening. Now I'm not losing my support, exact same support that I had before. My hand is very active on the mat and it's giving me my waist. So every time I exhale, my waist is narrowing, my corset is coming around my body, and it's giving me that feeling of nice support. Beautiful. How does it feel to be supported? Good. And last one. Great. Yes. And we're going to stay there for a second and relax. Nice. Now, this leg is going to come forward. So we're going to cross this foot there. And just in there, you might just feel the need to stretch. Don't worry, we'll stretch the bum in a second. So this foot is pressing, and then this leg is nice and long. So I'm going to start to lift it up a bit and down. So inhaling, you can either point or you can just have that little bird and a perch that's not so pointy. Beautiful. Now making sure I am in the center of my body. I am not allowing the spine to collapse. So my tail is quite long. Yeah, so I'm not over arching the back. I'm letting my tail be long, and if that means bringing my leg a little bit more forward, that's completely okay. It's very important too that my right sole is pressing down. So it's both hips are working like one. It's like really, really strong. My right hip is not chilling. It's working like crazy. It's almost like lifting the other one. It's almost that supporting the right that's lifting my left. Beautiful. It feels kind of weird, but really good. Okay, nice guys. That's wonderful. And now we're just gonna stretch the bum for a second because we probably need that. So just bring one leg on top of the other one, just in this kind of stair mode. And we're just gonna go forward. So you can either put one palm on top of the other one and we can use the elbows to allow the groin to open a bit, or we can just put one hand on one hand and we go again. So the important thing here is that we create a bubble of air in that groin. We're not compressing it. And we breathe into it. And we're gonna come up again. Good. And forward. Opening up that groin. Beautiful. And up. Last one. Wonderful. Imagine the ribs are floating back and up, guys. Allowing that waist to get some space. And we're going to go all the way to the other side. So, remembering the same principles, I'm just going to change this because otherwise it's going to get stuck somewhere. But remembering all that, so we were talking about a couple of things. We were talking about the bottom leg. That's very important. We tend to forget about it. We were also talking about the hand, right? So the hand that's supporting me in here. So remember that. So it's the importance of this hand that's in front of me and the connection in your bottom leg. What else were we talking about? We were also talking about just not trying to just move the leg crazily without any kind of support or control, because otherwise it's going to harm our bodies. So we want to really imagine we're sucking the leg into the socket so that the leg is working with us. It's not just something random. It's your leg. It's not anyone else's. So you need to work with it. So again, so we're pressing on the bottom leg and lifting the top leg up and down. Beautiful. So again, remember the bottom leg, super strong, super strong, super strong, pressing down, and nice. Good. Yes, beautiful. Now use your hand, allow your arm bone to be in socket, and keep imagining that feeling that your left hip is like sort of reaching away. Great. Nice. Very, very good. Yeah, and for some of you, if you've been following, I hope you're starting to feel probably, it happens that the understanding happens different at different timings in the body and in the head. Sometimes we just think we understand something, but actually the body might have picked it up even before we even noticed it, or the other way around. So it's very important to, just allow that learning process to happen naturally. Last one. And then we're going to do flex with the top leg, and we're going to bring the knee. We're going to pull it in. Again, same thing. The hip is reaching out. You can put your hand on your left hip, reach it out. And now keep that feeling of length through your left side to pull your knee in without changing that length. Pull it in. Now imagine I've got a surface I'm pressing against with my left foot to press away from me. Beautiful. And I'm lengthening. I keep pressing not from the knee, just from the foot. And now I'm doing a little bit of a point back and I'm flexing to go forward. Sack my leg right underneath my chest. Beautiful. Sack it in here. Yes. And then you point, grab that pencil in your arch, and you go back. And again, now it's really easy when we go back to forget about the bottom leg. So don't do that. Yes. Very good. So I'm really thinking of the bottom leg, pressing on the bottom leg. Just go as far as you haven't lost your bottom leg. Good. That's always a good cue. Pull it in, pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. Make it nice and heavy towards your socket. Beautiful. And if you feel some resistance, just ask your leg if it's okay today to be in you, in your socket, in your core. Pull it in. Beautiful. Last one. We're almost there. Okay, now knees are together. We've got this leg goes a little bit farther, and I'm having that little shell, and I'm bringing one knee in, and I'm opening it out. Same feeling of length through my left side. Don't worry, we'll stretch the bam. If you're feeling it already, your glute will be stretched. Just tell your glute it's all right. We're gonna make sure it gets what it needs. Good. Last one. Wonderful. Beautiful. Perfect. Now, this leg is long, and I'm bringing this one first in. Okay. So I'm pressing with my left foot, nice and flat and nice and through the whole sole. And I might have to reallocate my body just a little bit so I still feel like my hand is giving me something. And I'm not overarching my back, so I still have the long tail through my back. And I'm gonna pick up my leg, bottom leg. Good, as I press on the top leg. So this is very important. Left leg is pressing to lift my right. Good. And again, so I'm really pressing. Good. Keep using your hand and engaging with your core so that it happens as a system. Wonderful. 2 more. Yes, last one. Okay, and let's just stretch that bum so we can have this leg on top. Nice. And we're just going to keep opening that groin and we're going to go forward. Yeah, make sure it just happens from the spine, creating space. Good. And we go all the way. Stay there for a second. Good. And allow those ribs to float back and up and the groins to get that bubble of air. Good. And we're just going to do one more. Now, we've got the stretching session coming up just now. So if you give me two minutes, I'll be changing the emission. And we've got our stretching class. Please stay for it because it's just until 10 past. And we haven't really stretched that much, so it will be a great complement to this. So we can just release a little bit more, opening the tissue and do all that. So see you in a bit. Thank you so much for being here and hope to see you now in a second. I'm just going to change the mission and I'll see you there. Mwah.